Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Price and welcome to a week ago. Now, I've got a podcast interview in just under half an hour that I didn't expect to happen. When last week's episode with Witch Fever went live, I didn't have anything planned podcast wise until, well, you know, until after my dissertation was due, because I didn't really think I'd have the time. But then I already sent off an email requesting a podcast interview, and they got back to me. I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, alright. So I'm about to do that now. It's with someone very exciting. I say that, the last 3 podcast interviews, well, to be honest, all of my podcast interviews have been with someone exciting. I wouldn't have someone on my podcast if I thought they were if I didn't think they were exciting. But yeah, I didn't expect this, but, you know, I've interviewed this person before for an academic piece of work. Back in 2nd year of uni, I was writing a feature on YouTube musicians, and, you know, they came up as an option, and I was like, cool, I'm going to speak to you. So I sent them an email the other week, and I was like, so you've done something, do you fancy, you know, coming on my podcast? And they're like, cool, sign me up. So apparently that means 10:30 AM on a Monday morning. But anyway, once this is done, I'm wasting no time and I'm getting back on with my uni work, because that dissertation isn't going to write itself as much as I would like it to. Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Price and you are listening to the 19th ever episode of Fresh from the Scene.
It's like, as the order is great. Sorry. Why do I have to start talking as soon as you open the camera? We're ordering Domino's and it's very exciting.
We're ordering Domino's because they now do their vegan pizzas for like the first time in... I don't think they've ever done them in the UK properly, but they've always done loads of trials.
Yeah.
They did one. They have done a trial in Huddersfield before, like 12 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about that. I know that you can get them in like various places at the moment, but not here, not anywhere nearby.
But yeah, I was just scrolling through Facebook after the interview finished and saw that, you know, they'd already rolled them out in some places. So I was like, I'll check the app, which I still have, despite not having ordered Domino's in well over 8 months. And it was there, and we were like, lunch? And she said, say lunch.
Lunch? Sorry, I missed what you were saying.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, my reaction was lunch.
But yeah, the podcast interview went well. Depending on how my workload goes for this week, it will either be up this week or next week. It was a good one. I think it was a good one. It felt like a good one. Did it sound like a good one?
Sounded like a good one, but I couldn't hear what your guest was saying. I could only hear what you were saying, but what you were saying was interesting.
I'll take that. As someone who's never listened to my podcast.
Well, I hear half of the podcast when it's being recorded, so...
She's never listened to my podcast, and
I'm
she
terrible.
thinks that she can share an office space with me.
I'm a terrible friend, I'm the worst. Why do you have to do? It's a Monday morning. This is how I look. I'm so happy. So fucking excited.
So yeah, we had Domino's. It was amazing. Like the Domino's, Domino's have really, as a brand, they've really done a good job with this. Like the vegan cheese is barely there. Like it's there, but you don't really taste it. And it's certainly not like chewing the glue that is Papa John's vegan cheese. Pizza Hut, you know, pepperoni, I will always have a space in my heart for. I think it's a fantastic pizza. It's just a bit harder to get a hold of, particularly in the early hours of the morning, which is usually when you want a Domino's. Yeah, having to basically make your mind up if you're having Pizza Hut or not before 8 o'clock in the evening is, yeah. But no, I think they've done a really good job with this, and I'm probably going to spend a lot of money at Domino's again. It's been over 8 months. I can't actually remember the last time I had Domino's. Because obviously as well, I've been vegan the entire year and I obviously haven't been able to have any pizzas, but yeah, plenty more Domino's in the future. And for the record, not spawn. Oh, that would be so good. Domino's, please sponsor me. Just one pizza a week, that's all I'm asking. One pizza a week. So this is annoying. I've had to re-upload last week's a week ago because for some stupid reason that I can't explain why, the last 2 minutes of footage was just missing. But it was there in the editor, so when I decided to do a second export, you know, everything looked fine, and then when it exported, it did the exact same problem. So I tried re-importing the footage, which is lucky because, you know, I'd almost deleted it already. But yeah, I managed to get it working the third time, so I've re-uploaded it. It's annoying because it means that, you know, the people who had already watched it at that point, which was, you know, 86 views already, and people had commented, you know, it was, yeah, people had already watched it, so, you know, this one's gonna suffer from an algorithmic perspective. And also the fact that, you know, when you re-upload a video as well, YouTube just doesn't really think that you're, you know, a legit creator. So it usually doesn't really promote it as well either. So yeah, that's fucking annoying. I thought it was better for me to, you know, re-upload it with the remaining 2 minutes of footage than to just leave it as it was and just put like a comment in the description or whatever, because, you know, I'd rather people be seeing things that I'm happy with than shit content, really. So there's been a new Contrapoints video out now for most of the weekend. I think it might have actually come out on Friday, perhaps. But I haven't watched it because I wanted to watch it on the TV and I wanted to watch it with Ian. Because basically I got Ian into Contrapoints and it was very much something that helped. You know, it gave us something to talk about a lot during the early stages of our relationship. So I've been waiting to watch it, and I was waiting for Ian to finish work today to watch it together on the gigantic fucking TV that we've got in the living room. So I'm finally gonna watch it. Finally. Review of the Contrapoints video. Think it's really good. Excited for part 2. Do I think we're gonna get part 2 this year? Probably not. Certainly not before November. But hopefully I'll be proved wrong. Yeah, no, I just thought it certainly made me think about a couple of things that, like, I hadn't even considered really. Also spent the evening working, but I stopped because my MacBook got to 3% and I was like, my MacBook's already really hot and it's hurting my legs, so I'm just gonna put it on charge and go to bed. Another day of work. Okay, hello. So my Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes Record Store Day exclusive live to vinyl just arrived. Couple of things. One, you know, happy that I got it. Bought it from a record store, like their online store. It was surplus stock, so you don't have to worry. I didn't give any money to like some eBay scalpers or whatever. Support your local record stores. It's literally from the local record store. I couldn't go to a record store day. But note to people shipping these kind of things, there was sellotape around, and you can see where it is based on the lighting on this image. If you're not guessing it, it's level with my mouth currently. Yeah, there was sellotape basically binding it together, you know, the sleeve side. And, you know, that's all well and good for keeping it in, but now I've just got a sticky sleeve, and, you know, I'm not really worried about this being devalued because, you know, I buy vinyl to listen to it. I don't buy vinyl to have it on display and then to sell, like, later on. It's still sticky after I've taken the sellotape off, and the problem is, you know, one, thanks, you've basically, you know, I'm not really sure what I can do about that. And two, if that sticks to something and the only way that I can get it off now is to rip it off, you've ruined my sleeve. That's not something that's my fault. That's, you know, that's the person who decided to put fucking sellotape on the outside. You know, It's not like it wasn't in a, you know, plastic wrap in the first place. So yeah, that's annoying. And you know, I don't want my possessions to get ruined because someone decided to put sellotape on something. And not just any sellotape, like really sticky sellotape. I was being really careful trying to get it off the record. Yeah, it's just annoying. So I'm gonna have to keep this separate until the stickiness on this bit and this bit decides to stop being sticky. Did some work, had some pizza, watched Game of Thrones. Got a meeting tomorrow, which is gonna be interesting. Discussing work so far with my dissertation supervisor. So I'm hoping, you know, I get a good start tomorrow, basically. I really didn't want to get out of bed today, but I've got a meeting at 2 or 2:30, I can't remember which, and by then I need to have done as much work as I possibly can to be like in the best position possible. As I said last week, it was crunch time. It's even more of a crunch time now. I did get a lot done last week though. I think I must have looked at in total, including the last 2 days, about 10,000 YouTube comments. Right. I should get up. Just finished my supervisor meeting regarding master's dissertation. Feeling very positive after that, considering everything. Discussed a lot of options, discussed what's happened over the last month and a half, and basically discussed the work that I've done, particularly over the last 2 weeks. So that has really helped, you know, like, I think it's very much my fault for not speaking to her, like, earlier, and you know, I'll hold my hands up and take responsibility for that, you know. When you're struggling, everyone knows it helps to talk, but when you bottle things up, you're not talking, so yeah. But yeah, now that that's done, I'm gonna have my lunch, which is reheated pizza. Because obviously last night Domino's was 2 for Tuesday, so I got 2 pizzas, with the firm intention of having one today. And yeah, I've been looking forward to this. Now I can have food. Well, I can have food in 15 minutes. It needs to cook first. Hey Siri. Time 15 minutes.
Okay, 15 minutes and counting.
Cook faster, I'm hungry. Pizza, 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 pizza. Pizza, 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 pizza. Shit, the door handle's round. This is warm. Warm and greasy, warm and greasy. Pizza, 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 pizza. So I decided to use the time left in my lunch break that I'd assigned myself to edit this podcast I recorded on Monday, because, you know, if I could make 4 weeks in a row of consistent podcast content, I wanted that to happen. And because, you know, it was just editing, like, you know, I thought I'd get it done. So I've just finished it, just finished editing. I'll just do a little bit of the admin stuff, and then I'm going to get on with doing some more work, because I know what I need to do now, and I know exactly what I need to do now. So there will be a podcast this Friday. There will be a podcast this Friday. As a note to my future self, and you who is listening, who is watching this, I'm going to put a little teaser in on the Friday of this vlog. Make sure you watch until at least Friday. I had a lie-in today, but I did wake up and find out that well, I didn't quite make an extension request, but I was looking into an extension and it's already been confirmed. So yeah, to put it simply, I have too much work to do in the space of between now and Friday next week, which, you know, came as a result of my struggling mental health over the course of August. So, you know, I was talking with my supervisor yesterday, and we obviously spoke about, you know, what my options were. I'm not a fan of extensions. I didn't really have one. Well, I didn't request an extension until my postgrad. But yeah, I've got one now. But I'm gonna try and work to as close as I can to the actual deadline. So, because, well, basically, I want this over and done with. I promise I don't do this on purpose. Yeah, it's Friday, which means that the newest episode of Fresh from the Scene is out. Here's a preview. Yeah, definitely. Like, you see a lot of, like, artists particularly, like, going for a different sound, like, and it's always shocking when it's going, like, because, you know how it goes, like, as an artist gets more popular, they end up having to go for a more glossy and poppy sound. But then, like, if an artist goes the other way and makes something that's a lot more, rough and ragged, but is, like, speaking true, I find, like, whilst they might lose an audience, they make a bond that's stronger with their audience because they're, you know, saying exactly what they mean.
You have hit the nail on the head, Ruby. I don't even need to be here. You just absolutely knocked that one out of the park. Absolutely. Yes, could not have said it better myself.
So should we go back to Simon Loveridge then, working with him?
Yeah, let's go back to Simon.
So if you haven't heard that already, please, you know, go and listen to the podcast. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, whatever you want, really. Like if I say, Alexa, play Fresh from the Scene podcast.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Normally that works. Something along those lines will work. It's not fair. But yeah, you know, it's just available on most of the it's available on whatever you normally listen to podcasts on. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Me and Pete were talking after the interview for quite a while, just, you know, chatting about shite, and then his internet died. So yeah, what are you waiting for? Go listen to the podcast, please. I knew today was going to be a pyjama day from the minute I woke up. And lo and behold, it was. But tomorrow I'm in the office all day, so I tried to stay out of it today. Yeah, figured it would be good to get out of it for once, so yeah. So it's a Formula 1 weekend, which means it's a Formula 1 podcast, which means it's Grid Talk, which means I'm watching Grid Talk. Watching Grid Talk, which means I'm watching qualifying. The Tuscan Grand Prix qualifying. All ready to go? It's podcast time. Yeah, so we didn't manage to get on Facebook because basically there was technical issues that just wouldn't let us do it. But the podcast is done. There was no post show because, you know, we went on Facebook. But yeah, I enjoyed it at least. I don't know if I'm going to be on the next one because of, you know, this whole government thing. I was supposed to be going away, but I don't know now. I don't think anyone knows. But yeah. Anyway, I really need to pee. I've needed to pee for about 20 minutes. But when you're hosting a podcast, it's not a good idea. Last night was fun. Played Muffin Time, played Blockbuster, played Quiplash, played Knowledge is Power. You know, it's just a good time. But today is Formula 1, so you know, I'm watching that. That was a crazy race. Shame for George Russell to just miss out on points. Shame for Daniel Ricciardo to not get his podium. But yeah, they've got to come back to Mugello. That was memorable. That was, like, you know, exactly what you want from an F1 race. The fact that only 2 of the teams had both of their cars finish this race will say a lot. Come back to Mugello next year, Formula 1. Or if you can't do it next year, come back the year after. Make that a permanent addition to the calendar because that was fantastic. So we just watched the Simpsons movie because Ian had a craving. I was inspired by that craving to also have a craving to watch the Simpsons movie. So yeah, we just watched it. I think it holds up pretty well, to be honest. Like, it's funny. It's more hilarious to see the references now that I'm older and understand them. But yeah, Simpsons movie still got it. It's a shame that, you know, modern Simpsons doesn't have whatever the Simpsons movie had, but you know, anyway. I'm gonna call this a week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, do all the generic YouTube stuff, like, share, comment, subscribe, etc, etc. As always, I've been Ruby Price, and I shall see you a week ago. Adios, bye.